fellow cinestudios, my name is Christina and welcome to another Let's Get Reelz movie review. Today is Classic Movie Thursdays here on my channel, my version of Throwback Thursdays. Today's movie I will be reviewing for you is Theodora Goes Wild. The movie begins with this scandalous book that comes out called The Sinner by Caroline Adams, and this whole town, Connecticut, goes up in flames when the local newspaper prints it, and they're going crazy. All the decency leagues, all these groups, and all these nasty little biddies are like, it's such a scandal, why did you do this? They're like hounding the newspaper office. And one young woman who is caught up in all of this old biddy discussion and kind of hatred and shock about this book is Theodora Lynn, played by Irene Dunne. Theodora calls up the newspaper and she's like, we're gonna boycott your newspaper. My aunts say we're gonna boycott this. You need to take it out. Why did you do this? Theodora next goes into the city to see her Uncle John, who the aunts don't really approve of. He's very out there and worldly. He has been with a lot of women in his life and they don't approve of his lifestyle. Even though he's a nice man, he's just too scandalous for their small town. In New York, there is a publisher named Stevenson, and he is very excited. He's the man who has published The Sinner by Caroline Adams, and he's just riding high on its success. Everybody's talking about it because it was so scandalous, and he is about to meet the author, and who should that author be but Theodora Lynn? Yes, Theodora, this nice, timid girl whose town has been scandalized by the sinner running in their newspaper. Theodora Lynn is Caroline Adams, and she's not very worldly, but apparently the story is, and she gets very nervous because Stevenson's wife Ethel wants to meet Caroline Adams, but it's like in her contract that she does not do public events. She doesn't want any publicity on herself because she doesn't want to scandalize her town and her aunts and everybody, who should also come in, but the artist for the dust jacket, Michael, played by Melvyn Douglas. And he's this nosy person who's just in everybody's business, and he tags along with Stevenson, Ethel, and Theodora for dinner. And at dinner, Theodora just lets it go. She drinks, her and Michael have a great time, and she winds up going back to Michael's apartment even though she's supposed to be getting the train back to Connecticut. Theodora makes it home without anybody really knowing what her business was besides going to see her uncle in New York. And all of a sudden, everybody hears this whistling and sees this man standing outside her door. And it happens to be Michael. He found out where Theodora / Caroline Adams lives. And he pretends that he's a gardener. And he's just there to make Theodora's life miserable and just really trying to bug her to get her excited and to really just like get her out of her comfort zone, and that's what winds up happening, and the town kind of just goes nuts because now Theodora is immoral and scandalous. But it actually gets worse because Theodora goes back to New York and to Michael's place and finds out that Michael is actually married and his father is a politician and will not let Michael and his former wife get a divorce even though they really haven't been together for years. So Theodora decides to do what Michael has done for her to get her out of her shell and out of her situation, and she tells her publisher, hey, plaster my name all over the place, tell everybody that Theodora Lynn is Caroline Adams, and things just go nuts and Theodora does indeed go very, very wild. But of course in the end she gets Michael and everything is sunshine and roses and kittens shitting rainbows. Theodora Goes Wild, I believe, was Irene Dunne's first comedy movie, and I don't think you would ever know that this was her first turn at a comedic role in a screwball comedy. She was perfect. Like, oh god, she was great as Theodora Lynn. It was great seeing Irene Dunne go wild. You know, before this, she was in dramatic roles. She had made some musicals. She was in Showboat. And you know, if you know anything about Irene Dunne's movies, she usually sings in them. And a lot of her early movies were women's pictures. They were so dramatic. Like, sometimes they're a little bit too much. And it's funny that, you know, if anybody knows her today, she's more well known for her comedy movies like The Awful Truth, My Favorite Wife, which are both with Cary Grant. And she's just this, like, comedic actress to certain people. And then Theodora Goes Wild was her first turn at doing comedy. Blew it out of the water. I just loved watching all her facial expressions, her body movements, and just everything. I love Irene Dunne so much as an actress. She was so great, and I really, really hope you guys, if you've never seen an Irene Dunne movie, that you go and watch Theodora Goes Wild or The Awful Truth first. It doesn't matter. One of those movies first, and then go and watch her more dramatic movies, because I think you'll enjoy her a little bit more as an actress if you really get to see her comedy first and then go watch her dramas. She just had such a great range as an actress. Melvyn Douglas, I love that man so much. He fit with so many leading ladies. Like, he was the perfect partner for them. The perfect just gentleman with them. Like, he was still a gentleman, but he was still fresh with them a little bit. Yeah, like, that's just the type of characters he played. He was a bit of a prankster. He really wanted to, like, hook up with the leading ladies, like, their characters, and it was just good. I love anything Melvyn Douglas does. Like, to me, he's an actor that should be more well known. If you don't know who he is, like, just look up any of his movies. He's always so much fun to watch. So definitely watch Theodora Goes Wild if you have not seen it yet. I love it so much. You can just tell I was like a rambling fool this whole review. I don't know what it is about this movie. It's just one of those movies I can watch over and over again. I will say I do have one complaint about Theodora Goes Wild. It was kind of like a double standard thing a little bit, because Michael tried to get Theodora out of her shell and did, and she tried to do the same thing to him, and he got pissed. I mean, granted, there was more at stake with Michael because his father was a politician, but it was like such a double standard. I'm like, really? Come on, like that kind of just drove me nuts. That was the only thing that bothered me in this whole movie, but other than that, Theodora Goes Wild is totally perfect. That was my review / rambling of Theodora Goes Wild. If you liked this rambling or review in any way, please give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. If you have seen Theodora Goes Wild, if you like Irene Dunne, Melvyn Douglas, whatever, just leave them down below. And also in the comments, if you have any suggestions of what I should watch for other Classic Movie Thursdays or just any movies in general, leave them there. And if I pick your movie and I watch it and I review it, I will give you a shout out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future Classic Movie Thursdays and other movie reviews, because that is what I like to do here. And as always, keep watching movies and stay absolutely fabulous.